Okay, let's do it in English. Let's do it in English, okay?
Yeah.
English is...
We'll try to make it very like linguistically very rich. So,
Okay, I'll introduce Abhishek. Abhishek runs a company in Kathmandu, which is in marketing and advertisement. And he's just like me. He dresses up normal clothes and all. But when we met for the first time, we met in a party, and everyone was doing all the party things. But I think we were talking about lucid dreaming. We talked about lucid dreaming for a really long time. Like we completely discussed it. And also later on, we found out that Abhishek and I have a common connect. That's his sister. So no, like we did not know that his sister is my friend. We got to know it later. So that's why I say world is a very small place, and anything can happen. So lucid dreaming, I got very interested because the way Abhishek described it, it sounded very legit the way he described it, because a lot of people talk about astral projections and lucid dreaming, but he sounded like he has experience in it. And then recently he spoke to me about his experience with astral projection. So before we go any further and jump into this subject, I just want to tell everyone a basic difference between lucid dreaming and astral projection. One of the major differences is that in lucid dreaming, you are asleep. You have slept, and then you're in the dream state. And when you're dreaming, you have more control on your dream. Even in a nightmare situation, you have more control because you're aware it's a dream. Whereas astral projection can also happen, and mostly it is done when you are in a wakeful state, which means that, there's a certain technique of how to get into that zone. I think because I was so much into it, that once it literally happened on its own. Like I was just sitting and I was thinking something, and suddenly my whole body was, like how it vibrates, and I was like, oh my God.
That's the exact experience I had. Yeah.
So it can happen like that also. So now Abhishek had some really cool points which he had sent to me. So now this is the basic difference for all those people who are interested in lucid dreaming and astral projections. This is the basic difference, that in one, you are asleep, you know that I would be sleeping, but astral projection, that's why, the yogis, I don't think we have reached that level yet. How they show in that movie where the Jedi, was that Star Wars, in the last fight, one of the Jedi, the senior Jedi, what's his name? He does astral projection, and they have this war with each other. And it is only in the end he finds out that he was, in the astral projection stage. So over to you, Abhishek. We'll start from lucid dreaming.
Okay. Let's get into the topic. Okay. So my first introduction with lucid dreaming was back in, I think, 2014. So this was the time I was working in a call center. So basically what you do in call center is like throughout the night you call American people, you try to sell, daydream basically, yeah. So you try to sell websites and everything. So we used to have this gap time of about like 45 minutes. So while I was working, so this was the same time when I was working in a call center, I watched this movie called Vanilla Sky. I don't know if you've watched this movie.
Vanilla Sky, Tom Cruise,
Tom
it's
Cruise,
a good movie,
So I watched this movie in the evening. It was around evening, and so I didn't quite get the plot of the movie in its entirety. So I just had to check Wikipedia as to like get more into its drill and like what the movie was all about. And so as soon as I checked the Wikipedia page, so the first line it said was like, this movie is based on the concept of, or it wasn't even mentioned the concept. It was written like this movie is based on lucid dreaming, and there was a link to it. So that was my first encounter. Okay, lucid dreaming is a thing in a science, or like it even exists in Wikipedia. So that sort of grew curiosity in me, and I wanted to check like what this is all about. So I went into the page and I saw like it is a scientific technique, and with certain practice and with certain actions you can actually achieve it. And and in the like article I also like got to know that it's not really something to do with spirituality, but it's a science-based thing. Like with anyone with this level of practice can get into this lucid
Achieve
dream
it.
state, right? So in it was written something called reality check. I don't know if you are aware of it. So reality check is something you do in your wakeful state, right? So one reality check. So the whole purpose of doing reality check is like you do the reality check in the daytime. You make that reality check action as your habit, and it's so it's assumed that the habit is supposed to be followed in the dream state as well, right? So my reality check technique was to check my hands in every 5 minutes, right? So how I used to do it was like in my wakeful state, I used to watch my hands and see if like 5 fingers are there, all intact, like this, right? So you do this repeatedly, like in your wakeful state throughout the day, and it almost becomes a habit. And when you're in the dream too, you're supposed to like follow this habit, and you see your hands, and in the dream, how you can know like if you're in dream or not is like, so in the wakeful state, the hands are like in perfect shape, it's all good. But in the dream state, the hands are like not in the perfect shape. It's disproportionate. It's like it feels as though like the
There
hands are
could be
broken
more
apart.
fingers, there could be less
Yeah.
fingers, or
So,
the
yeah.
shape would be a little bit distorted.
Right. Exactly. So the shapes would basically be distorted. We did talk about that back then. Yes, Suraj, we did talk about this as well. So it was this time.
Was
So
he
I was
there
in a
in the
dream.
party, or is it a separate conversation?
I think it was in a separate conversation. He is someone who I share
Oh
this.
yeah, hi Suraj. I remember now. You were also there.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so and it was in this dream I watched my hands and I saw like the hands were distorted. It was not in the right shape. And then I realized I was in lucid dreaming, and I was able to like see the dream as not the dream state, but I'm like conscious in that dream. So it was a very conscious sort of experience in the dream itself. And yeah, things blew up like that, and the whole like the first lucid dreaming
Okay.
experience was that. And so yeah, it was kind of cool. Do you want to share something about lucid dreaming or your like experience if you
Okay, I have a like a slightly different I can say I won't say experience was any different, but the entry or how it happens. I think for me it happened when I was very deeply into focused attention. So the first time I actually experienced full blown it was when I used to meditate a lot. I used to really like sitting still. So I used to sit still for many hours, and sometimes it used to pain, it used to really hurt. But that time I was so much driven by it. I was so enchanted by it. In the beginning, it was, of course, like I would see other people doing it. I would like, I want to do it too. I want to be like this. I want to, be able to sit for a really long time. And some of if you know about Vipassana meditation, then Vipassana is a very difficult meditation. It's a very hard. Like when you do Samadhi, all the other practices of Samadhi, it is still, there's a lot of enjoyment and there's a lot of pleasure. That's why a
yeah.
lot of people love to get into that state. But Vipassana and the third eye meditation, which was taught to me as a child, they are very difficult because you have to really focus on yourself and on your body, and then therefore sometimes the pains and aches are very initially. Later on, obviously, you figure out a technique of how to ignore the pain and how to be in touch with the subtle realities. So during that time, I remember I had this, first I had a vision, and it was it was a real thing the same day. So I knew that it was clairvoyance or vision, and it was something which if I try to explain to other people, they may not understand. Now a lot of people understand because I'm connected to those type of people who understand it. But back then, the crowd that I was hanging out with, not everyone was, interested in ascension or lucid dreaming or focused attention, because most of them were very materialistic. But I had that experience, and the same night, I felt that I was totally aware that I am dreaming. So this is one common thing that I felt, that I was completely aware, and there were certain challenges in that dream. Like I knew that if I can clear these challenges because it's my dream, So though it was a dream, but the awareness that it's a dream was there, and then there were certain challenges were given to me, like how it happens in a video game.
Yeah.
You do this and you'll be in the next level, and you do this. So that happened, and then when I was in for a first 10-day session, it happened like literally all the time. Every night I was going through this experience. So then I started reading about it, and yeah, I found out that even this reality check thing, how this reality check is similar to focused attention, is because when you're in the state of focused attention, you're also doing a reality check, because your mind can wander here and there,
Yeah.
So many thoughts come, and so many, especially, very happy thoughts and very negative thoughts. Both of them can take you away from the present situation, away from the practice, basically. So I was thinking that, I have to be conscious that I am here. I am right now in this present moment only. So that I feel is very similar to reality check, because you can't do reality check the whole day if you're not a person who has some kind of focus, because you made a goal that I'm going to keep checking my hand, and you kept doing it the whole day.
There's an assumption that there has to be basic level of mindfulness in your wakeful state.
Yes.
Which is like assumed to be followed in the dream state as well. Yeah. I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So that was my experience. I mean, of course, if I get into what happened, then it will be a completely very long session. But I can say that it was very interesting, especially because when the difficulties were presented, it really felt like it's so difficult. But that memory or that thought that it's a dream and I have source with me, and I can pull this off, that really shifted everything. And I feel that when you start lucid dreaming in your real life also, it sort of helps you, because sometimes you feel that I'm stuck and I'm trapped and I cannot feel better right now. There are sometimes you meet certain people, they put you in such a bad spot. You feel like, this is such a intense, dark feeling. But because you have practiced so much, you know that this is not real. This is temporary. This is temporary. It will pass. For how long will it stay? Same thing, I think, same formula is applied in lucid dreaming, or lucid dreaming can help in the real waking world.
Yeah. And also, speaking of advantages, like, so I also read a few of the articles, and it said like the athletes, sports people, they actually do lucid dreaming for their own advantage as well. So there's only so much you can do, so much you can practice in your, let's say for 9 to 5, right? So if you can like make yourself aware in a dream, so it's basically limitless as to in terms of the practice hours and everything. So that's how like athletes also have been taking advantage of it as well. And I also heard this article, read about this article. So while in lucid dreaming, you can actually visualize a person who might not be alive in the present days, but who you really look up to. So it could be like Abraham Lincoln or like maybe Mahatma Gandhi, for instance. So you can literally visualize this person in front of you, and you can ask like whatever you want to ask. So if you want like to get wisdom from Mahatma Gandhi, you can basically shoot up a question, and that Mahatma Gandhi in front of you is going to answer the question. So necessarily it's not like the real Mahatma Gandhi there, but it's your perception of this guy.
Of him.
Who is like all wisdom and all like full of wisdom. So that person basically answers your query as well.
I would ask him, why did you do the partition? You should not have done it. Of course that happens. So one more thing I want to add in this is that lucid dreaming, like you said that, there's not so much you can do in a 9 to 5 schedule or like materialistic schedule, regular schedule that you have. I feel that in many cases I felt because that's how I started, and still in some of the days I am doing something or the other, but I feel that you can actually, because you just have to take one thing, like say hands, or maybe a word, or maybe you can use a card. Like what I've also done is I've taken a card,
Mm-hmm.
like a small blank card, which
Yeah.
is used in that script writing also, those small
Right.
little visiting card, but totally
Yep.
blank. So you can
Right.
write something on it, and it can be a word or it can be something you want to do, and you can just keep looking at it every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes, just keep it
Mm.
in your pocket or somewhere. If you keep doing it the whole day, that also helps you in the dream state or the
Okay.
lucid dreaming state. It
Mm.
can be anything. It can be just a very positive quote, you
Mm.
know, uh,
I see.
walk on your path or whatever it is, like
Yeah.
source is with you, you are guided, you are anything like that, So that kind of helps. If it's a positive quote, especially, it will really help you. And if it is related to lucid dreaming or related to that dream state, it can really help. I felt that, so I thought I should share it.
Okay. Amazing. Yeah, and
So,
also there's a thing called practice of journaling about dreaming.
yeah.
So like as soon as you dream, and if you can recall your dream, it's suggested that
Hmm.
you write it down in a journal or something, because
Hmm.
dreams are like sort of similar in nature. Like whatever dream you do today, there's certain similarity in the dream you see that the next day as well. So if you start
Hmm.
journaling, you would know like you're in dream. So it just basically raises your mindfulness level. And
Hmm.
so do you know the thing or two about this journaling thing?
Journaling.
Yeah.
What do I say? I was actually planning to share something on my channel also, because there are a lot of people who appreciate this type of stuff. There is an exercise
Mm-hmm.
uh, wherein you have five questions, actually, five pointers. So I learned it in about, I think, 2015, and for the next 4 months or 5 months, I had like so many notebooks. I
Mm-hmm.
filled like all the notebooks, because that's not like journaling, but it's like something you're not able to achieve. That is one of the pointers. Like, say, for
Mm-hmm.
example, I want peace in my relationship with the source, like, or I want, this could be a little bit heavy, but let's say anything, like any materialistic thing, that I want to buy a house. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So the five questions are something like, what do you want? Why do you want it? Why aren't you able to get it? Who is stopping you? Something like that, So there's a series of five questions which I want to share with people, but I will share it. So journaling, even for dream space work, because in the twin flame journey also, the dream space work is very important. And I personally feel the more you work on your ascension, the your dream work becomes stronger and stronger, and you can do a lot. In fact, the masters communicate with you on the dream. Your healing is done in the dreams.
Right. Right.
you know Many times you're feeling, you, like, it happens during the daytime. You're literally very active, very agile, and you're doing something, and suddenly you just go off to sleep. You just want to
Mm.
leave everything and take a nap, you know
Right.
and
Right.
it is like so sudden. Like, you would be like, I just got dressed up, like, I just got ready, I just had to step out, and how can I just go off to sleep? But you have no control, and so you just prefer to take a nap, and the nap could be even very short. Sometimes it could just be 15-20 minutes, but when you wake up from the nap, you know that you have received some kind of download or something,
Right.
from the universe. That's how I felt. So but then you did share a few points, like about lucid dreaming and astral projection. How to do it, we have covered. Like, you can either have, like, how they
A
show in the movie.
technique of reality check. Yeah.
That movie, you remember Leonardo
It's
DiCaprio's movie,
yeah.
if
Yeah.
I have a totem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I said that postcard thing can also work, or you can have something like a keychain,
Mm.
or something, that you keep coming back to.
What basically worked
Correct.
for me was the hand thing only. Like, so in the dream, you don't see your hands in its perfect shape. It's basically distorted or
Yeah.
disfigured. Yeah.
That is a very interesting thing actually, because after I met you, that
Hmm.
was in 2018, I think, when we met.
Yeah.
When you told me this, I did it after listening to you, because I was like, okay, this is something interesting. So I kept doing that
Yeah.
hand thing throughout the day. I would keep looking at my fingers. Am I awake?
Hmm.
Am I asleep? So it was really interesting. Then our experience we have shared, spiritual significance. So do you want to say something to it? I think we covered that also. That it can help
Yeah.
you in your
Yeah. That being covered, I think we can jump on to the astral projection topic now.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago when I shared my experience with astral travel.
No, it's more than 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, I guess. Yeah, three or like
Okay,
somewhere
maybe
along the line.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah.
yeah. So, guys,
Mm.
this was my like first ever experience with astral travel, and so up until the point when I actually did the astral travel, my like knowing about like travel was only limited to few research here and there in the YouTube and some articles. So,
Mm.
so one night, what happened was like I woke up at around 2, and I don't know, like some things were bothering me, and I could not like get back to sleep again. So I
Okay.
started, yeah. So I could not sleep up until 4. So 4 is the time here. Please note it. Like 4 is as Sandra already knows is also considered to be the most
Yeah.
um,
Whether you
how do I
sleep
say
at
the
4 or whether you wake up at 2.
yeah, Brahma
Yeah.
Muhurat, the time is like
Yeah.
is considered to be at 4.
Yes.
So I was struggling to sleep, and I think it was at around 4. I basically had to like follow the techniques of yoga nidra to get to sleep, because I was really bothered. Like I could not sleep. I had a really early morning the very next day, so I just followed the yoga nidra instruction, wherein I like just stopped moving my body, moving my hands. Like I resisted all the urges to, roll over or like do any of the bodily urges, follow the bodily urges,
Mm.
right? And I also stopped like improvising with my thoughts. I didn't play with my thoughts. I didn't give any consequences or like any tangent to my thoughts. So I completely shut off my body. I completely shut off my mind. And then I was at this point where I could not actually feel my body, and I could not actually
Mm.
feel where my body exists or where my consciousness exists, right? And
Mm.
I could also see, I could also, as far as I can remember, I could also feel myself in being in this position where there was no thoughts of any kind.
Mm.
Right. Now, cut to what happened. Suddenly, I started gaining awareness of my body, and this big vibration started to happen from my toe
Mm.
to my head. It was like all vertical, dum dum dum. It was almost like, it also had this sound of dum 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 kind of thing. And
Mm.
so the vibration started to happen,
The
followed by,
vibration.
yeah, followed. So the whole body started getting like vibrated. It was throbbing with all like, with all the gist and like the power. And
It's like a rocket going to space, sort of a
yeah,
feeling.
that part I'm going to touch upon right now. So what
Mm.
happened, what followed this vibration was this loud noise and sound of, I'm sure you've heard the sound of jet engine, right? Like the plane
Mm.
jet engine. It was almost like, if I
Mm.
am to like have an analogy of this sound, it would be of the jet plane. So it was right after the vibration. No, actually not right after the vibration. As the vibration was happening, the sound started to coming in, and
Mm.
it was like it was getting louder and louder with every second, with every
Mm.
successive seconds. It was getting very loud, and my like I could actually feel the body was vibrating at its like opeth, like at its like utmost level. And now this actually broke. This whole
Mm.
state broke when I thought of like I think I can get out of my body. This is the thought that came in, right? So this was the thought that came in, like I can actually get out of my body. I know I'm not in my body right now. And there was this feeling like I was never in this body. So the thought like popped in, and it just said like, you can get out of this body, right? So this happened, and I voluntarily, I consciously, I with all my awareness tried to pop my head out of my body, feeling as though like as if like my body, I am not the body. So that was the like sort of conviction I was giving to my body and like to my mind as well. Okay, I'm leaving this body, I'm leaving you mind, you've been talking a lot. I'm leaving this body, I'm leaving this mind. I think I can get out. This is the thought that came in, and I literally, like, I voluntarily, with all my consciousness, I popped my head forward. I just thrusted my head forward, and it actually came out, right? It actually came out. It almost felt like, the chewing gum is sticking out of its wrapper. That sort of feeling, like the I will leave for sure. Okay, so yeah, I got distracted. Anyway, so my head popped up, and I was facing upwards, right? So I was facing upwards, and then with the highest speed, I traveled up. And I could see the blazing lights all over me. The lights were surrounding me, and it was almost like this photography effects you see in this cool photographic edits. The lights are like everywhere. So that was like the whole thing, and like I was really traveling upwards in the highest speed possible. The whole like vibration and the sound went off, and I was like traveling really up, and I think it lasted for about like 10-15 seconds. I was traveling up. Then I got into this zone where it was all silent, all peaceful, and I could not sense my body. I actually like tried to see everywhere, but I could not see my body. But I was there. My existence was there. My consciousness was there, but there was no body. There was not this cross body. And I like watched around, and I could see like this beautiful ombre colors of blue and purple gradients. It was so beautiful. It's like one of the beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. It was like all blue and ombre and pink gradient, all sort of beautiful colors, but mostly the shades of blue, which is like purple and pink and of that kind. And I could also see like some esoteric, like abstract symbols
Sacred geometry.
in front of me. Yeah. So I could not actually make sense out of these symbols. I'm sure they mean something, but it was then at that point, like it was like complete silence of the sound and of the noise and of the vibration. I was like completely in the most peaceful state. And I think it lasted for about like 1 or 2 minutes. I was in the thoughtless state. I was not thinking of anything. I could not feel my body. I was not in my body for sure. And so all I could see was like beautiful colors, ombres and lights and symbol. And there I was like just seeing and experiencing, and not like giving space for any thoughts or something. Yeah. And cut to, so this actually lasted for, I think, about like 1 or 2 minutes, as I already said. And I don't actually quite have the recollection of getting down to my body back again. But next thing I know is like I'm in the body now. I'm in the body. I'm in this body again. And I opened my eyes, and it was like beautiful. So for like good 5 minutes, I just like try to like absorb the experience. For 5 minutes I stayed like completely silent and just like trying to figure out what happened. And so I think it was also sort of exhausting experience for the body. I quickly slept right after that. But the very next thing, the very first thing I did, like once I woke up, was like I checked the Quora, Quora, right? This forum website.
Quora is my favorite go-to place for every intelligent search, because there's so much stuff on Quora.
Yeah, so that's what my like expectation from Quora was at least too. to like at least I could get some people who have had like
Yeah.
experience like mine, and like
And Quora is one very good app if people are on the ascension journey, or people are, very research based, where
mm,
people can give their own real testimonials and experiences. It is
right,
one of those apps that has really good content on it. And
right,
all these topics like lucid dreaming or
yeah,
astral
exactly.
projections.
So yeah, I started checking like everywhere in the internet. For the most part, it was on Quora, and also I came across a few videos in YouTube as well, where it said a thing or two about like astral travel, some people who have experienced it, and surprisingly enough, it was like quite similar to mine, the whole vibration thing, and some actually
Mm.
use the word of train engine, or like some also use the reference of the jet plane engine as well, and I was quite shocked to like know like, okay, man, that's the exact experience I had as well. So that actually
Mm.
sort of gave me a sense of verification as to like, okay, this actually happened, and
Mm.
a day later I messaged you as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, it was in Quora, and I also came across this forum where it said like what the experience is like to be astral
Mm.
traveling, and what
Just
significance
playing around.
yeah,
Mm.
what significance it carries, um, like the vibration thing has to do with the whole spiritual thing. And it said like, okay, so when you are like vibrating and when you're hearing this all the sound, your body is actually getting into this visible state where your astral body can actually go out from your gross body. That's what the explanation
Mm.
was. So it's like the whole body preparation going on for you
Mm.
to get out of your body. That's what was written there.
Okay.
So yeah, it
Mm.
just added to
Interesting.
my like belief that actually it was a real astral travel. So yeah.
I, I think your experiences sounds again like when you spoke about lucid dreaming, I did feel it's quite legit. And
Mm.
that vibration part was what made me feel, when you spoke about I felt this vibration. That's what you wrote in the message, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
I was like, yeah. Uh, so I'll probably add some things to this. Astral projections are basically, out of body experiences,
Yeah, yeah,
and they are very controlled.
right.
It only happens to people who are practicing it or people who want to do it. So I think the first time when I did it, it was a couple of years back, and on YouTube. YouTube is again another place where you have all sorts of content. You have the most cringy content and you have the most intelligent content.
Right,
So I
right.
remember there were certain audios and they were like 1 hour long or 30 minutes. You just have to put, in the audios. And that's how I started because I was again very much interested and I really did not know, who to go to, what to do.
Mm.
So there were these audios, and it was mentioned that if you keep listening to this audio before you go off to sleep or you're resting, you will reach the
Yeah.
astral projection stage.
Mm. Mm.
So I was like, okay, I didn't even believe it. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Like, this is
there are a
not
lot of
possible.
videos, yeah, that goes by the name
Yeah,
of like
listen to the audio and then get into
binaural
that
beats for you
state.
to for you to be an astral plane and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but surprisingly, I still don't know, I never stored the link because I was so, taken aback. Did it really happen? I was like that because I was listening to that audio, and initially it didn't feel like anything. I was like, yeah, okay. Then started calming me down and I felt very relaxed. And after some time, I started feeling that my body is vibrating,
Right.
and
Mm.
I felt this, like, but I wasn't moving. It
You
was
weren't
not like
moving.
I was
Right.
moving or I was shaking, but I've just felt like, there was this, like how this rocket, I felt that rocket launch experience at that time.
Yeah, okay.
And suddenly I was like, somewhere and I
Mm.
was floating. And then one of the points that I want to add as a spiritual significance also, I feel that when you learn about astral projections, or when it actually happens to you, even if it happens to you for a few seconds, even if it's not very long. I mean, some people would think that astral projection is like, going into some other place and then chilling over there and then coming back and something like that. It
Yeah.
it is somewhat like that. But when I read Ramayana, or whenever I read any of these epics, all the great epics that we have in Sanatan Dharam, it's like they used it because they wanted to travel in the space, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I realized one big thing, that no matter how many people say that we need a spacecraft to go to the space, and they can probably spend the next 2000 years doing that or whatever, but this is a much better way if you practice. You can
Yeah.
uh, Another thing I realized with lucid dreaming and with astral projection is that, when you have all these, when you're very constricted, when you're a constricted person, when you
Yeah.
live in the society and you follow the society to the T, you follow everything that the society does, and you live in a world which is very much, clock and time oriented and calendar oriented. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to do any of this. It's
Yeah.
only when you are, you are in that zone of liberation. I
Yeah.
mean, this is the language.
Yeah.
Even though it
What?
sounds like, but this is what it is. So
Yeah.
when you're not restricted to the typical way how people see time and space. If you're very much like, oh, I am this is my age and I cannot do this, or this much time, I don't have this much time, or I have to live like this, and you're very much confined with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, like how people see, like, I don't think Monday has to be the way how people explain Monday should be.
Right.
So when you start breaking these barriers of space and time,
Yeah.
astral projection becomes easier
Yeah. I
because you
think,
don't
and
have those.
yeah, and I think like one common precondition that actually enabled both of us to like do the astral travel is the relaxation part, where you're not actually occupied with your own thoughts,
Yeah.
and your body
Yes.
is
Of
relaxed.
course.
I think that's
Yeah.
one of the like common preconditions we share.
Yeah, and that's why I said getting out of the social constructs, because maximum thoughts, I think, come from that only.
Right.
How you're perceived, how you should be, how you should act, and this and that. But I personally feel very strongly that when you're a more relaxed person, when you start letting go of all of these,
Yeah.
strings and baggages and thoughts and notions about this is how your life should be, this is how you should earn money, and this is how you should live, and this is what you should do.
Hmm. Yeah.
You can never do astral projection or lucid dreaming for that matter, because
Right.
you'll never come to the focused attention
Hmm.
zone. Never.
Yeah.
Only when you're, in that zone of focused attention, and like you were lying down at a certain time, and let go of your body, and you knew that this is what I'm doing. And I know you personally. You have a
Hmm.
business, you run a business. I've seen your office. I've, met you in your professional setup, as well as I've met you in a personal setup. And
Right.
that's why you're my friend, of course, because I could see that even though he's living in the, regular materialistic world, he's earning money, he's hustling. That's okay, but he's still very much, spiritually, he's so interested,
Right.
And I
Right.
remember we sung a song that day, one of
Yeah.
the sessions,
Yeah.
and our songs were so similar. Yours was in Nepalese and
Yeah.
mine was in Hindi. It was literally the
Right.
same song.
It was this
And the
little
same.
ukulele. Yeah, we had as
Mhm.
like the only instrument we had that time. Yeah, I still remember that.
And the
Nice.
only thing was that even the composition was very similar of that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
So this is how you connect with people, in a place where you would not imagine. Like, I never knew
Right.
that you're my sister's, your sister's, my friend's brother.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was crazy. And then, talking about lucid dreaming and astral projection, extraterrestrials, these are the things that I'm really, always so into. Like, I just have to listen to the words and I would go completely, yes, what are you talking about? Yes, yes, I want to know this. So you were perfect, that day.
Right.
conversation. And today also, I think, um, what is
Yeah.
this? Anna
Speaking
also
of,
calling.
yeah. Speaking of Divi,
Anna,
I think
she's calling you Anna.
Anna.
Why are you calling
Then
him
I think
Anna?
no, no, she's not calling me Anna. I think she's
Yeah,
calling.
she's saying Anna also. Yes, Abhishek is from Nepal. Abhishek is from Kathmandu. And though we met completely, like we did not know anything about each other, but later on we found out that we have a we have a
Common.
connection in between, and that was a very close connection for both of us. That is. So, Abhishek, do you want to add something else about the relevance of astral projection? I mean,
Yeah.
we did discuss cool
I think
points.
it's a very beautiful experience, and for anyone who like takes birth in this planet as a human, I think they have to experience this experience because if you're not experiencing it, I think you're underliving the life. Maybe
Yes,
I'm not saying in
yes.
a very egoistical level, but I'm just saying in a most humble
You're
way.
not
I can feel like
condescending
yeah,
anyone.
right, yeah, and it just gives you the feeling like it just gives this legitimate sort of like a real feeling, a real verification as to like you're not actually your body or mind you think you are, but you are more than that. I think
Yeah.
that verification is truly beautiful, and it just is so real. Like it's not like the non yoga, which like has been passed down from the scriptures. Like okay, you're the soul, you're a body. So until you have experiences, you will never know if you're like soul or not too. So I think things like astral projection actually adds to this conviction and
I
belief that you're
totally
actually
agree
soul.
with you. And I
Yeah,
think you've said it wonderfully, because when you're very stuck with your identity, with your physical identity, or with the life you have, you're so trapped in it, you're like, I am this person, this
yeah,
character. It's
yeah,
very difficult to experience something which is out of body, or something which is so surreal, and something which is the actual truth. Because a lot of
yeah,
people think that this is woo-woo stuff, but what they're doing in their lives, that is the real thing, but that is not the real thing.
yeah,
So when you actually want to do something like this, then definitely you have to be more, you have to be more open to other things, and you have to
yeah.
understand that, a lot of people say that, yeah, I am this body and I have a soul, but I think they're actually the soul that has a body.
Right.
It is the soul that has the body, and body is
Mm.
temporary. But then why
Yeah.
this body is good is because it can help you experience these things. You
Right.
know, that's
True.
why it is a device. It is a very good device, and it can really help you. So I think we've pretty much covered
Covered.
so many
Yeah. All
things.
the
We
things.
sound like professionals, but I know we are not.
Yeah. We just had a few experiences.
Yeah, we just had a few experiences, which again, like I agree with you, it makes you feel that there's so much happening.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing things that you can do, and you would want to do it more and more and more. According to me, the deeper you get into it, there's no
Mm.
end to it. The more you explore, the more you get into it, the
Yeah.
more you explore. And of
Right.
course,
Right.
it gives you
Yeah.
also a sense of peace in your life.
Yeah.
You don't get stuck in the things that are very heavy and intense and negative, because this is not even real. This is
Right.
just something, I imagined, and it manifested or whatever.
Right. 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 And I'm so happy like you brought up this whole conversation about like creating the discussion around it because it's actually needed. If not for us, like who is going to do about it? So yeah,
It
really
doesn't
looking
matter.
forward
We,
to
we are
like
enjoying this. We are
yeah.
enjoying it. We are happy. Thank you, universe, for inspiring us to do
Thank you,
this.
universe. Yeah. So let's just see like what our followers are up to. Like, are you guys still like actively listening, or is your phone just laying there and you're
There's definitely one person, Snehal, who's continuously commenting and
yeah,
all.
thank you
But
so
if
much.
if anyone has any question about it, I mean, I would be sharing this link on my channel also later on, so that other people can watch it, whosoever has missed out. But if you have any other question about lucid dreaming or astral projection, we are not professionals, but we can just say like, yeah, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
मेरे को लो ना यार, कहाँ ले यार तेरे को?
Sneha, yeah, is she a friend too? Like,
She also connected with me via my channels, my YouTube
uh-huh.
channels, the other channels which I don't share with anyone here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Again, for the same reason, because they might not understand it, might not know what that channel is all about. I see
Right.
spirits like dark people more. Well, again, you know, even when you're in the Kundalini ascension, people do see spirits and all that. So I don't think that is connected to this topic right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we should wrap it up here, Abhishek, and we'll do it
Yeah.
again. Maybe next
Sure.
time we'll, call in more interested people. We can do a Zoom session also, and we can do many other ways of doing the
Hmm.
session.
Right.
Thank you both
Thank you so
for
much,
sharing
Ranjita,
your
for joining
experiences.
in. So she has been here like since 10 actually. So
Oh,
1.5 hours.
hi.
Wow.
Wow. And we didn't even get to know because we don't live in the regular space and time world, so we didn't even get to know it's 1.5 hours.
Okay, yeah. Thank you everyone for joining in, and special thanks to Chandra for like making this possible and
Special
starting.
thanks to Abhishek for being here and sharing, for existing, for meeting me in
Always.
Kathmandu.
I'm so looking forward to meet you again. When when when
Yes.
when do you think you're gonna come here?
Uh, as of now, I'm planning to move to Goa.
Okay.
So
Chances are like
let's
I might be visiting Didi and like everyone in Delhi maybe in 2021.
okay,
Maybe, yeah.
2021. When is
Yeah,
2021? But like when?
right. Hmm. Maybe mid of the year, so that would be probably June, July.
In the summers.
Yeah, in the summers.
So let's hope you meet me too in Delhi.
Obviously,
It
obviously, I'm gonna
was,
invite you in my place. You're gonna invite me in yours.
of course, for sure, for sure,
Okay.
for
It was
sure.
lovely. It was lovely today. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone
Yes.
for joining in. Suraj bro, Ranjita, Sakshi,
Bye
Sneha.
bye. See you
We'll
guys
join again.
again.
Bye bye.
Yes, we'll do it again soon, something more interesting. Not
Bye
more
bye.
like, yeah, bye.